What's up, y'all? Newfie Steve here, and today I'll be showing you guys my Hexblast build in Path of Exile 2, so let's dive in. Now, this build is mostly a mapping build. It can definitely kill the map bosses and stuff like that, but if you're looking to do some of the harder bosses, you would definitely want to build another way. But this build is made for big AOE, so I'm going to dive into the skills, passives, and the items. So the first gem we're going to go over is Hexblast. This is a level 18 gem, so I can still get level 20. So this damage can still be increased. I've seen some builds online, Hexblast hitting up to like 600 and 700k. So if you want to build a boss build, it's definitely there. But for now, then we're going to start with Hexblast. We took Arcane Tempo for the 25% cast speed, Inspiration, so 40% less cost, which we're using health and mana, so this is important. And we're using Concentrated Effect. This is just big area damage, and you also lose some area effect, but this helps a lot. And this is Life Tap, skill mana costs converted to life. With this build, I'll dive into it later. Mainly our mana is our real health, but I'll get into that later. And we also went with Magnified Effect for more area of effect. Now, Blasphemy. The problem I had with this build before is I would need to be close, somewhat close to the enemies for Blasphemy to apply the curses. Now, what Blasphemy does is you socket in a curse, which I'm using Despair. It will auto cast or use the curse on the enemy without having to cast it. So it'll apply it to it. And the problem I had was, you had to be somewhat close to use Hexblast. So I went with an AOE build. As soon as the mobs enter the screen, the curse is applied. So the route I went, I love it because it was the problem I was having early on. So this is definitely a good way to go. So for Blasphemy, we use Despair, and then we're also going to use Heightened Curse and Ritualistic Curse. And like every other build, Archmage, it's just too powerful. It's the best way to scale almost any spell skill. It's great to have. So you want to get this high as you can. Right now mine's at 7%. I've seen that you can get it up to 8 or 9%. And you're also going to put Lightning Mastery into it. Now, Essence Drain, you can do whatever you want with these skills. Besides Contagion, I went with Persistence, Chaotic Freeze, which is very important because when you are doing bosses and stuff, you're going to cast Contagion right away and you're going to blast away to get that freeze build up. And we also went with Swift Affliction. And that's pretty well it. For Hexblast, you don't need much. It's pretty well just Hexblast and Blasphemy. Now, we are a Blood Mage, and the reason why we are a Blood Mage, because this is also a crit build. I'm still missing my last two ascendancy points. More than likely, I'm going to go with these two. I might come over here and take Grasping Wounds because this can be pretty powerful when needed. We'll have to see. But the main reason you go Blood Mage is to come over this way because you get so much critical hit chance. There's 12% for spells. There's 1% increased critical strike damage per 40 life. That's why it's good to have life as well. And 12% critical hit chance for spells, and the last one is really needed. This boosts your damage and your critical hit so high. Base critical hit chance for spells is 15%. That boosts everything out the water. So that's pretty important. Now we're going to dive into the main passives. Starting out, you come up this way, and we're coming over here, and we're going to come into these nodes here. 8% increased effect of auras from your skills. Blasphemy makes your curses into auras. So this is very important. You're going to come down here and you're going to take this main one, and then you're going to come down and take another one, and you're going to come over here and it's some more area effect. This whole build is all about area effect and area effect damage. We will be taking some chaos nodes, but So this is why it's important to come over here. And then you're going to come up all the way over here. You're going to take some critical hit chance nodes and stuff, come all the way out. And you're going to take a left. And the first thing you're going to grab is Mind Over Matter. All damage is taken from mana before life. This is what I was saying. Your mana pool is pretty well like your life. You have 50% less mana recovery from this. It's not a big deal. You could definitely cap that mana regen back if you wanted to. It's up to you. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to take some more area effect. Spell skills have 8% increased area effect. More area effect, area effect. Spell skills have 20% increased area effect. So all these nodes here are area of effect. And some more area effect. Now what's important about this node here is area skills have a 20% chance to knock back enemies back on hit. This comes in handy all the time. I see it all the time, especially when I'm fighting rares and stuff. You'll see them get knocked back. It's lovely. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to come to the right and you're going to come all the way up and take Eldritch Battery, converts all energy shield to mana. As I said before, your mana is like your life pool, so every bit of mana you can get is great. So this is a must-have. And then you're also going to come up here and you're going to come up and take Arcane Intensity. And this is where the Archmage and stuff comes in so great. 3% increased spell damage per 100 maximum mana. So I got 2,700, so that's 27 times 3%, and that's your increased spell damage. The next node I'm going to try to get, I left this to last, this is going to be my next node as I'm leveling, 12% increased maximum mana, so this is going to increase my mana, but it's 10% increased mana cost with skills, so still a little bit of a work in progress, I'm still leveling. And then you're going to come down here and you're going to take all these nodes. They're all crit hit nodes, critical hit chance, critical bonus. And you're going to come up and you're going to take this node if you need to. I have this allocated on my amulet, so I did not need to put a point into it. But this is huge. 30% increased damage if you have dealt a critical hit in the past. I think my critical hit chance is at like 80, 90%. I did have it at 100. So your critical hit chance is going to be very high. So you're going to be critically hitting a lot. So you're going to have a 30% increased damage from this. And then you're going to come over here and take these chaos nodes. I went as far as here for the 53% increased chaos damage, but also you lose 3% of your life and energy shield when you use a chaos skill. Then we come up here, we take some more chaos nodes, and we're going to come in as far as here, gain 11% of damage as extra chaos damage. That's a pretty big node. And then we come up here, took this node for 10% spell damage, and these two nodes here are area of effect. So these are must-haves as well. And we come as far as here just for the skill gem. And that's pretty well it. It's still a work in progress, but what I got done so far is great. I'm enjoying it. As I said, I love the idea of Hexblast, but I hated how close I needed to be to enemies to actually deal damage. That's pretty well it for the passives. Oh, also for the passives, I missed these. You're also going to come up here and you're going to take some more area of effect. Area of effect. And this has 10% reduced spell area damage, but spell skills have 30% increased area of effect. And we're also going to come down here and take these too. 20% increased area of effect for your curses. I'm still testing this out. Make sure this works with blasphemy properly, or if it's just for your curses without blasphemy. So there's still going to be some testing done, but this node still works here. So it's still great to go this way. 40% increased area effect of curses, 8% increased effect of your curses, and enemies you curse are hindered with 15% reduced movement speed. And that's it. Now I'm going to quickly go over the items. This is like a budget build. There's nothing extremely hard to get here besides maybe my amulet, but we'll go over that. For the weapon, you're going to want spell damage and chaos damage, depending on how high the spell damage is on your wand. It all depends, but you're going to want more mana. I got 38 maximum mana. You're going to want 100 plus. And you're also going to want +3 or +4 to skills. And if you can get a +5, even great. And you're going to want even higher increased critical hit chance. Mine's 79. You'd like to get 90 plus would be ideal. And on my wand, I have gained 18 mana per enemy killed. This is great to have. Like, as I said, your mana is your life. So when you're killing mobs, you're always getting mana back if you do get damaged. So I find this great to have. You can have this anywhere on any item as long as you're getting some MPK. It's great to have. For the gloves, I just went with something with some decent energy shield. Like I said, max mana. And I wanted some magic find, so I got that on my gloves. And you're going to want critical damage bonus on these as well, and some resistances. For the belt, I went with a 3 charm belt, and like I said, you're going to want life and mana and resistances. They're like some of the most important things on most items besides your focus and your weapon. You're going to want the critical hit chance and bonus damage. And for the boots, same thing, 25% movement speed, some energy shield, and maximum mana, and tri-res. And for the rings, I just went with rings with cast speed, mana, maybe a little life, and resistances. Same thing over here. Life, mana, cast speed, resistances. And for the chest, I have a mid chest. I'd like to get something with like 800 energy shield. I will in due time. But you're going to want something with like 50 spirit or higher because you do need the spirit. But again, it has maximum life. Intelligence is a good one to have because that gives you mana and some resistances. For the helmet, same thing. You're going to want something with decent energy shield. This is an okay helmet. I got 253 energy shield here, but I have a little life, a lot of max mana, and I put some MF on it because having magic find is just great for when you're farming, and you're going to want high increased critical hit chance on your helmet and some resistances. Now, for the focus, this is a pretty good focus. I think when I put this on, it gave me like 20k sheet damage, mainly because of the spell damage and the high max mana on it, and the high critical hit chance for spells, and some critical damage, and some high cast speed. This focus is just high damage all around in every aspect. And last piece, which is my biggest piece, is this amulet. As you can see, I have allocated Deadly Force, which is that big crit node. But this amulet has spell damage, max life. I wish it had mana instead. Spirit, +3 to skills, 22% critical hit chance, and 25 dexterity. It could be a tiny little bit better, but amulets like this are going for like between 10 to 20 divines, maybe even more. But that's about it. An amulet for this build, ideally you just want spirit, maximum mana, plus to all the skills, and critical hit chance. Those would be the main things I'd focus for. If you can get one half cheap, having a lot of mana makes a bigger difference. And that's pretty well it. I'm going to show some gameplay of a tier 15 map, and that's it. I hope you guys try the build out. I've been enjoying it. It almost does screen-wide AOE, and I can't wait for when they fix Hexblast to allow spell echo to work. Right now, it does not work with Hexblast, so when that happens, it's going to be a big improvement.